Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago. On Tobago Updates, viewers, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's such a pleasure to be with you. I am Candace Jackson
And viewers, we want to welcome each and every one of you, those connecting with us here in Tobago, those within Trinidad and Tobago, those in the region and the world at large. Thank you for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. I'm Julian Skeet, and indeed we're happy to be here with you this morning. A nice kind of weather. It's not too sunny. We look forward to seeing what the day has to offer. It is Thursday. Yes, folks, we're well into that November time, Candice.
Certainly.
I'm loving that combination with the brooch touch. It's the Christmas season.
Listen, I had to get into it because Christmas is such a wonderful time.
Yes, indeed. And you know, so many things happening in this space simultaneously. We saw, you know, a news conference taking place yesterday. Very short at that, not very much details.
Not very much. I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't that much coming out of it. And of course, it was quite late in the afternoon. So I know a lot of our media colleagues were not able to attend or whatever, because that was crunch time for news. But
yes, most certainly in terms of the information there. But I think the only main thing that really came out is that commitment in terms of the Thursday.
Yes,
the
next week
upcoming Thursday. For the House, where all the details will be made available, presentation by Chief Secretary, and that is in keeping with the practice that we've seen before.
Certainly.
Yesterday almost made me wonder, like one of those meetings. You know, sometimes you go to that meeting and it takes about half an hour, and then you wonder if this can be done via an email. It's that kind of, but more importantly, the commitment given that come next week, Thursday, we will therefore see that follow-up presentation that speaks to the relevant areas in terms of how the priorities would go in terms of going forward. Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Certainly, and I am looking forward to seeing how they're going to supplement the funding. What are those matters they're using to come up with the alternative sources of funding that they spoke about in that meeting? And yeah, definitely looking forward to see what happens there.
Right, indeed. All right, viewers, at this point, we head straight on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Candice. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 16th November 2023, sponsored by B-Mobile. The Executive Council continued its deliberations on reprioritizing the THA's budgetary allocations for fiscal 2024. According to the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, the $2.95 billion shortfall in funding from the central government has necessitated a reassessment of development plans and identification of alternative sources of funding. They met with the administrators and other key officers throughout the Assembly to determine priorities for the next fiscal year. The reprioritized budget will be detailed during a sitting of the Assembly Legislature on Thursday, November 23rd. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transport, Tasha Burris, is leading a 6-member delegation on an Inter-American Development Bank study tour in Jamaica. Taking place from November 13th to 17th, the tour aims to enhance the THA's capabilities by drawing from Jamaica's successful Treasure Beach model. Topics include assessing tourism products, leveraging digital technology, sustainable policies, and green practices. Funded by the IDB, this initiative builds on a 2022 mission aiming to fortify Tobago's tourism industry through knowledge exchange. The workshops encompass diverse topics like inclusive tourism development, capacity building for boutique hotel owners, community-based tourism, digital marketing, sustainable tourism, climate impact and adaptation, and product development. Minister of Public Utilities, Marvin Gonzalez, emphasized the need for transparency and urgency in investigating the recent cyber breach at TSTT during an introductory meeting with the new acting CEO, Kent Weston. Gonzalez highlighted the potential national security implications and stressed the importance of restoring public trust. Minister of Digital Transformation, Hassel Bacchus, warned against exploring the dark web, emphasizing the security risks. Both ministers pledged government resources and support for TSTT's investigations and efforts to regain public confidence. And that was your news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile.
This Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prices, cause this season will be your nice. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price. The most giveaways, the most parade. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring me sorry, let me toast to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bill to enjoy the best Tobago Christmas. B-Mobile, life is on.
All right, and that segment was brought to you by B-Mobile. It's a Christmas season with B-Mobile. So, Julian, we're just heading into our birthdays now for this morning.
Yes, it's time for birthday shout-outs. Birthday shout-outs coming to you in our birthday segment.
And we're getting things started off with Miss Avenel Bates. So a special happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family and, of course, your family and friends.
After a hard day of work, yes, we hope that he's getting some hours to be able to enjoy the birthday celebration. We want to send a birthday shout out going out to the Secretary for the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Pastor Terence Baines. Yes, it's your time, Assemblyman Terence Baines there. We want to wish you a happy birthday coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And then finally on our list this morning, we have Miss Sophia Hood. Hopefully I got that name right. And a special happy birthday to you. I hope you have a wonderful time celebrating with your family and friends this morning. All right, Julian, I guess so we're heading into, what's coming up this morning on our show. So, viewers, I think for this morning, we're going to get started off with Mr. Curtis Williams, who is the chairman of the Tobago Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. So, as we're going to speak about what's happening with the cruise ship season and Tobago's economy, because we know we're getting into the Christmas season, and see what's happening there.
We'll also be talking with Kyle Andrews, and he's the events coordinator of a men's ministry. And we're speaking about an upcoming 5K and 7K run and walk.
And we're also going to be speaking with Mr. Darren Dory, and he's the founder and director of Cyber Safety T, as we talk about cyber attacks and how we can protect ourselves, especially in light of all the cyber breaches that we've been experiencing lately.
Interesting kind of developments when you think of, in terms of the impact, those threats that come by way of cyber attacks. And that's really a discussion that, one can only look forward to hear what next, what can we do in these circumstances, and very interesting developments, even at some of our major, part state-owned entities as it relates to changes immediately at the very top. If only politicians can act the same. When they mess up in that regard, that similar kind of serious decisions are taken. But somehow, unfortunately, someone down the line always takes the hit in these circumstances. But we'll leave it there for now. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much, each and every one of you, continuing to connect with us. I see we have on the live with us this morning, Petulia Jack is joined in. Hey, I also see Adana on the live this morning. We have Otis Nixon, Aloy Westerfield. Good morning to Lisa James out there, QK Melville. We want to say good morning to each and every one of you. And thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Want to improve your child's comprehension and creative writing skills in record time for SEA? Calling preps 3s, 4s, and 5s. Sundays only. 3-hour sessions of individual attention with a qualified, trained, experienced teacher of over 35 years and an SCA examiner. Call 266-5952 or 222-2082 for further information. Ask for Ingrid. Excellent results all the time.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, we are getting into our first conversation this morning, and we are going to be joined by the chairman of the Tobago Division of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and that's Mr. Curtis Williams, and he's going to be joining us online. So, special good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Williams. How are you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good, and morning to all your viewers and listeners and Tobago Updates. Morning to you, Mr. Julian.
Good morning, good morning.
And
Good morning, indeed. And at a time like this, when you come on, the matter at hand, we just had what one would consider to be, and I have to put it as plain as it is, an embarrassing situation. In this instance for Tobago, at a time where we are all recognizing that we have to make the collective contribution to move and to drive our island in a particular direction. And I want to start from there. What do you see as that broader responsibility, whether you're an NGO, you're an association, you're representing others, you're a business entity, or you are the Tobago House of Assembly? What do you see as that key responsibility across the board for all our stakeholders that play a part in the tourism game?
Julian, and you're correct. There's some sort of collective responsibility that associations and different entities must have. Let's look at it. Even if you're having some challenges with your supplier or with your agent, as the case may be, or with your employer, there are ways and means of treating with these instances, and not the fact that things are rough on all ends, but there are ways, because the ripple effect of the cruise ship industry. The cruise ship industry is a very fragile industry, and these guys could change their protocols at a moment notice, and based on your reaction. By not thinking of the whole and only thinking about just a part, it could really have such a ripple effect. I was shocked of that decision made by these drivers. I know they are hurting. Probably they have funds outside, but let's look at the bigger picture. When you're dealing with tourism, you look at the bigger picture and not just your little entity there. And that ripple effect, Julian, we could have lost numerous ships because of that. And it's not gone. It's not going at all. So we have to monitor it. I'm monitoring it. I have friends in the industry, and I'm monitoring their messages sent to me, and to just see if there's any fallout coming out from it.
And Mr. Williams, you're someone who has quite a bit of experience in the cruise ship industry in previous jobs and so on. But can you just share with us, how are tours organized so that people can have a better understanding of what really happened there, and even how it affects not just the destination itself, but also the other businesses within Tobago?
Yeah, definitely. Candice, I've spent 17 years in the maritime industry and 6 just dealing with cruise ships, a Disney Cruise Line I worked for. And Candice, I work back of the house and front of the house, which definitely I understand what you see as a guest on board the ship, and I understand what we see as the crew or workers within the ship itself. So planning a tour is a complex and very, very tedious process. And when you do cancel these tours because of issues with drivers, etc. And this ripple effect, it goes through the entire system, is not easy. Let's look at it. The Shorex manager will have all these stores. They will sell these stores beforehand, and they will be paid for, most of them on board. And so when you're making your bookings, you will have all these done beforehand. And then suddenly you come to the destination and there's a cancellation. It's not a nice thing. It's really, really not a nice thing going forward. And the feedback to the guests would be very, very detrimental.
Is this a case where guests will now have to be, refunded by their various cruise liners that they would have paid, as you indicated, for these tours? However, there was a failure to deliver?
Yeah, definitely. The guests would definitely will be refunded. They give them on board credit as the case may be. But look further down, Julian. When you're planning a tour, remember it's not only you, just the driver moving that person from point A to point B. You have other things involved in that tour. You have all the people, the food, and all the other amenities that you may go with the tour. So those things are important as well. So it's important that we understand what's going on there and that we play that important part in that whole thing. So the whole sort of refund going through, some just cannot be refunded. Some you just have to take it as an expense and go with it.
How do you see this being corrected on the part of, well, I should say as best as possible? We saw where, notwithstanding, it wasn't directly any fault of the Tobago House of Assembly. The secretary and the division kind of springing into action, carrying on board tokens for all and so on, really expressing apologies. But from our internal arrangements here in Tobago, how do you see us seeking to correct such a challenge so that we do not have that going forward again?
Well, what I recognized, and it was good of the THA Tourism Division to pop in, but I just need the assembly to have a bigger oversight on what's happening with the cruise ships once they're in port, and that means we're looking at all the security, we're looking at all the vendors and the whole aspect, but just have an oversight, a closer oversight on the deliverance of the various sectors within that whole protocol. It's important that the teacher have that bigger oversight because just one small incident can lead to a lot of disruption within the protocols.
Now, this situation also has some positive light and some silver linings, and that is the opportunity for Tobagoans themselves who may not have previously been involved to get themselves involved. And can you just share with us just some of the things that you are seeing just right off the bat and the opportunities that you are seeing for us to take up?
Well, we can clearly see, Candice, that there are definitely there are opportunities for vehicles, tour buses, and so forth. So we asked in the Tourism Division, Minister of Transport, if they can open up their license, the ban, so that folks can invest into these tour buses, the 12-seaters, the 24-seater tour buses. And I know it's not a hard fix, because it was something that spoke about in the past. So we need some more buses on island. We don't need a set person who's doing a maxi taxi to come back to do tour buses. And then you have that interlink, because Candice, when the cruise ship comes and school is in operation, you know what happened? We had to split in maxis between the school and the cruise ship. Candice, that's why we need tour buses and not maxi taxi drivers per se taking guests. We need tour buses, folks who are trained and certified to do these kind of tours, and they will be able to deliver a better quality. So there are opportunities for us to get into purchasing tour buses, individual companies to purchase tour buses, so assist in this development. Also, what about an agent? We lost our agent, Almando's. Miles Almando's was one of our really good agents here on island. And we don't have anyone looking to get into that field. So we have that agent have to come all the way from Trinidad and have someone representing him in Tobago. Why Tobago can develop probably 2 or so agents, so one work in the east. So when we have calls in Charlottesville, we have somebody there, we're able to work with us and get certain things done, because cruise ships really need these agents. The agents is important and a protocol to deal with all issues. There are issues that you guys don't see. We fix these issues behind the scene. You only see the nice part of it. So that's why it's important that agent, and being an agent is not an easy task. but is important for the cruise ship.
Saw that yesterday, and I'm sure you would have seen the chief secretary host the press conference coming out of what were their discussions and so on. The secretaries, administrators, technical officers within the divisions and so on, projecting in terms of going forward, looking at the reality of what is now available in the context of the budget that was recently passed, and that commitment to present next week Tuesday in the House. What are your hopes? Any core areas that you're looking forward to being dealt with by this current administration in this
Well,
fiscal?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Julian, um, you and we are the members of the Tobago division. We are all excited and waiting to hear the deliverance of this plan. We are looking to see how best the construction sector could be stimulated, because we know that they have been a bit slowed down in that area, and the other areas that we're looking for. So we are really looking forward to that Thursday presentation. I will be glued. I mean, I might be in the house just to be there in the public gallery to get all that information, because it's critical that we understand what's the plan of the assembly going forward.
Have there been any conversations between you and the Assembly in regards to that public-private partnership going forward?
Well, we did get the 15 pound document that was mentioned by some party. So it's a voluminous document. Our team is reviewing it presently, but we want to hear what's the overall action opportunities that the assembly have for the different stakeholders in the different areas. We see the winter season is on now for the hotels and the guests. Candice, I get in some currency I never got before. I went to the bank with one of the currency. The bank said they don't know about that currency. It was the Bank of Scotland. I don't know if you ever got the currency from that bank. But so we've seen businesses, the guests definitely here, and things are coming up to where it ought to be, but there's still room for improvement.
All right. We're just about heading 2 years in, and from where you sit in terms of representing business entities and so on, looking at that private sector industry within the Tobago space, how would you rate things thus far at this point?
Julian, coming out from last year was pretty much low. There was not much things happening last year. We started off this year looking excited. We were looking for some possibilities. Things started to move, the wheels started to move, but then we see there's a bit of slowing down again. So we definitely looking forward to seeing what would definitely be the plans for this next fiscal. I know it's very tough for most of us, especially those in the construction sector who have a lot of staff that have been home for quite some time. And we're all eager and awaiting the small contractors. We have a lot of idle equipment sitting there, and I know the banks is there waiting. Everyone is waiting with bated breath on the plans of the assembly, because it's critical in a small economy like us, a small island like us. You know how the ripple effect of anything of positive or negative affects us.
And then, of course, going ahead, I mean, I think you guys do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with the Minister of Trade to see how we can improve the manufacturing export capabilities that we have in Tobago.
Well, we just got some information that because of cabinet meeting, so she wasn't able to, she asked us to postpone, because it's a critical meeting we want to have with the Minister of Trade, bringing in the Exim Ban, bringing in the Export TT and all these players in the field to open this corridor for Tobago business. We see there's a lot of business that are getting into the micro business that are getting into manufacturing, light manufacturing, and we want to create that avenue for them. So hence the reason why we invited the Minister of Trade and the various entities, Exim Bank, for those who need US dollars and those who are willing to explore into the newer market or urgent emerging market abroad. We're looking at export TT. So we're doing our part as the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce, and we hope that the THA do their part so that when we all come together, it will make us a better whole as we go forward.
What are your projections and plans, even if in the way of having the necessary strategic talks for looking in the direction? The Chief Secretary has said it repeatedly, and we know that that's one of the realities here in our Tobago space. High proportion employment within the Tobago House of Assembly. We got to move in the direction of industry, factories, and so on, really trying to develop our private sector. Any projections on that part from the standpoint of the division in terms of continuing to make representation to assist with that movement and that thrust that is expected to happen, of course, supported by the Tobago House of Assembly?
Julian, one of the big drivers for us here on island will be some direct investment, some direct international investment coming in. That would be a major driver for us here on the island. So we're looking forward to the plans of these direct investment. We heard about all the things bantering around. We heard about the development of Scarborough. And Julian, we want to hear that the boots on the ground and the direct investment is coming into the island. We know that the central government will need approval in certain aspects of the direct investment. So we're hoping that the different ministries give the relevant approval, whether it's the Ministry of Finance or the Office of the Prime Minister or EMA, all the approvals we need to get these direct investment going. Because if we go and seek the funding and we have all these guys here waiting to do the development and we don't get the approval, then, Julian, we lose out on it big time. So we're looking for the support from the central government going forward in treating with these direct investments.
And as we're heading into the Christmas season, I know last year wasn't the best. We had a low spending power amongst the population and so on. Are you seeing anything better or any change for this time around for the business community?
Well, we start off with that bang coming out of Carnival. It was a little bit exciting for us, and we see that a little slowing down. But I've seen a lot of visitors now. I'm seeing different faces around. In Cross Point area, we've seen a lot of different faces around at some of the bars. We've seen a good bit of, again, as I said, foreign currency moving around, some spending. We appreciated what happened, but we definitely, again, as I indicated, there are room for improvement. And we want to see that up trust. I'm going to look around at the supermarkets, the mini marts, and see if there's that buzz coming around, the hardware, all the renovations. I know funds is a bit low on island, it's certain folks, but we look to see that buzz. Sometimes the buzz comes later on or early on in December. I know most folks wait to the last minute to get the thing going. So we want to interview our members and see if the buzz is coming on. And we sure definitely will keep you up to date on that buzz coming.
All right, certainly, and we look forward to that because stimulating the economy here quite important in terms of keeping our business sector going and as I mentioned before, employment in relation to that private sector element. As we prepare to close this morning, any other additional information you'd like to share with the public before we close?
Well, sure. We didn't just sit idle at the chamber. We decided to do a lot of initiative, and one of the new initiatives coming soon will be the launch of the Tobago Business Advisory Service from the Tobago Division of the Chamber, Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. It's something that I'm looking forward to with all great excitement, and I think the Tobago business all around from small to micro, all the business will look forward to that launch of that advisory services that we're going to offer. It will help you a lot. And we want to say thanks again for having me, and you guys have a great day.
All right. Thank you very much there for joining us here on this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show. Curtis Williams there representing the Tobago division. And a critical element there, Candice, in terms of the workings in our Tobago space. And I'm really always very hopeful that we would get to that point where the kind of efforts and investment is made. So we see that development and that growth in terms of our private sector space. It's not going to happen overnight.
No,
it's not going to become the perfect circumstance, as we may know, in Trinidad, based on how things are here. But we got to make efforts in that direction, especially if we want to gradually shift and move away from that kind of very heavy dependence on the government and the Tobago House of Assembly here in Tobago.
And certainly, and the business chamber has been, well, as you stated, the Tobago division, the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce has been trying, and they actually do have quite a lot of support for businesses or persons who wanted to get into business and so on. And they are trying to make those connections, which is why they were trying to have that meeting with the Minister of Trade to see what can be done, because we know foreign exchange is a major challenge, and it is part of what we need for building our businesses and so on. So we're looking forward to see what comes out of some of those things. Hopefully they can have that meeting soon. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but unfortunately it had to be postponed. So we're seeing where it's going to go.
And you know, we are out of time, but one of the areas I'm really looking forward to in follow-up discussions and interviews is also hearing you know, from the Tobago division as it relates to some of those commitments made on the part of the Minister Ruhan Sinanan, when he would have held the meeting during the time of the challenges and so on. Because I keep indicating we can't only wait until the challenges occurs and then we are in crisis state. And then we have that critical meeting to determine this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to move forward. Ultimately to look at what are possible plans and projections in terms of long-term solutions so that we don't continue to be confronted and disrupted rather by the short-term effects. They will happen.
Yes.
But the question is, how do we address them? What are the alternatives? What are the possible solutions?
And a perfect example is the situation with the buses, because beyond the monetary issues, I mean, we do have a shortfall on buses on maxi taxis on the island, and it shouldn't have to wait till a large cruise ship comes for us to realize that.
Yes, and I must say, from where I sit, you know, family base, connected both to the Methodist and Adventist, I was a bit, I couldn't get that use of the religious argument. These for me, these individuals did not pick up their feet this week. You knew forever that they are in the industry, and you know what happens as it relates to based on their religious commitments. So don't come and tell me now as if that's something that's new in this space and try to put them in the spotlight for people to look at the faith in a particular way. Don't do that. We know people's persuasion. I worship on a Sunday, some worship, but we worship on a Saturday, and you know that up front. Yes. That is not the kind of thing that you bring and you know labor as one of your first or second points in terms of you know why you might have had the challenge. But we continue to look on, and more importantly, we're looking for the solutions that will ultimately come out of that challenge in relation to the maxis. It's one of those that concerned me, and then it confused me, and then it upset me for a bit, and then it confused me again as the information comes to hand. More importantly, I heard representatives even speaking at the recent town hall meeting. And we are ultimately looking forward to what will be solutions to be able to move us ahead. I had hoped that the solutions would not just heavily now bear on the Tobago House of Assembly, but it seems like that's the direction we're heading in. But ultimately, for me, these are things that we can work on and provide that support so that there's still that level of private arrangement. Yes. But of course, the Assembly has a responsibility to ensure that things are in place so that it doesn't become correct, at least in the short term, so that it doesn't become an embarrassing and challenging situation here on Tobago.
And I hope people are listening and they're realizing that there are opportunities. So for those who want to reduce your reliance on the government and the state and so on, this is one of the ways. Get involved. You know, we had a comment, when you look at the crop of maxi taxi drivers and so on, they are of a certain age. So it's time for some of our young people to sort of take up that step. And to get involved. We certainly got to get involved. I like that kind. It's a very good point. There's an opportunity. There is an opportunity out there, and let's see how we can capitalize on it. Shout out to those joining us on the live this morning. I see Yolanda Cordner in the mix, and Nicole. I see Rodney on with us. Carol, yes, Miss Carol Fraser Davidson. Hey, Lavian Ashby. Cupid is also on with us this morning. Good morning to you. Alvin Big Doggy Douglas. Good morning to you. Donna Parks Greens Asante. Good morning to each and every one of you. I want to say thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And at this point, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
You know, who would I ever believe, Jessica could take care of a child,
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, you know, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you're not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. You're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy all my game for me?
Oh, I'm I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up is.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy.
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you can get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakaya Malik will go in on the bed.
But mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. I'm Julian Skeet, and we're just at about 7:37 a.m. this morning, and we're heading on into this interview with Kyle Andrews, events coordinator for the men's ministry out at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning. Morning, everyone.
All right. So we wanted to just angle a little bit more to your left side. Next way, next direction. Excellent.
Right, good. I'm using a tablet. It's a little funny. Yeah.
Right. So you see that side you just lean to, that's where we have you precise. Good. Excellent there. All right. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
All right. So before we even dive into the event, I want you to tell us a little bit. This morning you are representing the men's ministry that's executing this activity. Tell us a little bit about that, particularly heading into, the celebration of International Men's Day that takes place on Sunday. The work of the men's ministry in the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Okay, no problem. So for the last 2 years, I've been the men's ministry leader for Rockville Seventh-day Adventist Church. And basically, it's about promoting, well, not really promoting, but, being there for the men's spiritual health and well-being. And it's, so we tend to do activities that foster spiritual growth and, encourage men to grow in spiritually, and also about the well-being of men. So last year, which is I conceptualized the idea of for International Men's Day, which has been is 17th of November. Yeah, I'm getting a feedback. I'm not too sure if that's coming from me. Right. So as we know, Sunday, 17th of November is International Men's Day. And on International Men's Day, I concept the idea of doing something to celebrate men. So as you know, men are always on the back burner, and most of us don't even know of International Men's Day or do anything to celebrate and appreciate men, or even consider men's wellness in terms of their well-being and their social standing, the spiritual wellness, their health, and things like that. So as a result of that, I'm into running. I like running. I like keeping fit. I like maintaining a sort of wellness with myself. And I wanted to extend that through the church and through the community. So I conceptualized the idea of our International Men's Day celebration, which involved a 7K and a 5K run, together with a men's wellness celebration. So I'll pause right now for questions, and I'll get into more details of the event after.
All right. So for
All
those who
right,
are
so for
interested,
those who
what
are
do they need to
interested,
know to be able to take a part in it?
all right, no problem. So you can contact me at 683-4353. You can also register online because there's actually a link. Well, to get the link, you'll have to probably WhatsApp me and I'll WhatsApp you the link. That's probably the best way to get it online. It's going to be it's a little bit long, and I didn't have a chance to get it placed on the Tobago Mission SDA site. So you can WhatsApp me at 683-4353. I can WhatsApp you the link that will as a race roster link. Now race roster help you to manage race, and it will have all the details regarding the information, and you can use the link to register, but that will require a credit card. Now for those who have issues with regards to probably using a credit card to register online, you can still talk to me. I can do the registration for you, and maybe you decide to pay on the day, or I could reach you where you are and you actually do the payment. But given the time and the intensity, I could probably do the registration and you just collect your package on the day and do the payment. There's a fee of $50 for the 5K and $70 for the for the 7K.
All right.
All right.
So we just had on screen there the flyer, and I want you to remind our viewers that those who probably logged on a bit late of the details now in relation. It's the 5K and 7K. Where is it happening? When is it going to be taking place? The time, etc.
Etc. Right, no problem. So it's taking place at the Sidgwick Stadium, or what you call the Roxborough Complex. The time for registration will be, the race kicks off at 4 p.m. However, we expect you to be there at least before 3 if you have to collect your race package and do your registration for the actual event itself. So it's, again, I repeat, it'll be on Sunday at least 3 p.m. Race time is actually 4, but you need to be there at Sunday at least 3 p.m. to get a race. In addition to that, there will be a lot of wellness promotion. So there are going to be some tents with different persons doing a little promotion with health, with food, with well-being and stuff. We expect to see persons like I have a list of persons who will be there. Like, for example, just give me one moment. I have to pull this up. Let's talk about something else in the meantime. So, all right. yeah.
Okay, so we see there on the flyer, there's a scripture from Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Can you tell me the inspiration behind choosing this as a theme for your 7K walk?
So it's not necessarily my team. It's just something that we use in the men's ministry circle, where we actually we want to build each other. So we just take it from the scripture and I just put it to the work. And so that's actually where the inspiration comes from. It's not necessarily my inspiration, but it's just a saying that takes place in the men's ministry circle, where we decide to try to, as I said, iron sharpened iron. So we try to uplift each other. That's where the inspiration came from.
I know that this walk is taking place in Roxborough, and that's connected in terms of the Roxborough Church. But I want to ask, is this open to Tobago fan-wise? Is it open to females as well to come out and support men? Tell us a little bit about your target and your reach.
Right, so it's open to everyone. A lot of ladies sometimes ask me if ladies could come and walk too, and yes, there are quite a number of ladies who are already registered for the event. So yes, it's a celebration of men's wellness. However, anyone could actually come, young, old, man, woman could come and do the walk, and be sensitive to the issues that well, if you want to speak about the 6 pillars in terms of promoting International Men's Day, which is promoting positive male role, looking at the celebration of the positive contribution of men to the society, or even focusing on men's health and men's wellness, or even to highlight discrimination, or to improve gender relations, or to even create a safer place, a safer world for everyone. So it will allow persons to have that awareness by just being there, visiting the different booths, having the run, and just sensitize everyone. So it is not necessary for any specific, like just say Adventist or male only. It's for male, it's for female. For all the clubs, some schools have been invited to come to the activity. So we just want to come that day, have a celebration, and let's do a thing. Promote meal at least for once. So much time we are actually at the backbone, and we don't. They're not quite consideration to take to actually the meal issues that we are confronted with on a daily basis.
Yes, and I'm hoping that we definitely will see our men are going out there and the support even coming from our females, because you're making such a valid point. Very often it's so easy that we hear only about the challenges as it relates to men and so on. And young men. And here it is, there's a positive activity seeking to engage. So we're really looking forward. What has the support been like over the years, even in terms of young men like yourself in the mix coming out? Because sometimes they say those who are more senior are already seasoned, but yourself and younger in terms of supporting this kind of initiative and really coming out to be a part. How has that response been, at least in the last year or so?
So this is literally the first time I'm actually doing this event. I conceptualized it last year and I decided to put it to play this year. Okay. So it's the first time. So far we have quite a few people registering, more on the late half. That was kind of unfortunate because some of the preparations I would have liked to put in place to cater for more persons. It's going to be more scale back because you needed to see a momentum before you decide to exhaust the resources. However, it's going to be quite, it's still quite fulfilling, and everyone should still have a great time at the event. Yeah.
All right, and as we're getting ready to wrap, just so that people know how they can get connected, what are the fees that are in place to be a part of this event?
Okay, repeat that question. What are the handles?
What's the cost of participating?
Of course, yes, I mentioned the course already. So the course of participating is 50 and 60. $50 is for the 5K and $60 is for the 7K. Again, you can contact me at 683-4353 or Brother Earl. He's the, together with the ministry leader also, 620-5816. And you can just contact us and, we can forward the link to you or you can send registration information and we'll be able to register you for the event that you do.
All right, yes. So this is happening up there on Sunday. Certainly an excellent initiative, the events coordinator, Kyle Andrews. Any additional information you'd like to share with us and to share with the public of viewers and listeners before we close this morning?
Well, not really. I just want to thank you guys for inviting me to the program. I look forward and seeing everybody. I know it's raining. I'm really hoping that the weather holds up on Sunday. And come, let's celebrate men wellness. It's about time that men start to speak up a little with regards to some of the social ills and activities that affects them, and really that we get that kind of traction going forward as we celebrate men wellness together.
So I just want to make sure very quickly, if you can't run, you can walk, right? In support.
You can creep. As long as you start and you finish, it doesn't matter. It's not so much like a competitive thing. It's more a fun-related activity that promotes it, well, that get everybody together. And men are more, we want to do something a little physical or get ourselves active in terms of the way we will celebrate may be different for women. They might prefer to go to a restaurant and sit down and have a dining or whatever. But we want to come have that physical activity and actually do the promotion and get yourself probably checked out in the wellness in terms of your mindset, mental health, and things like that. So that's what it's going to be.
So we're certainly calling out. calling out all the support out there on Sunday. You know, I hear men and I hear the work, and I thinking immediately of calling out ACP Collis Hazel in the mix up there, Pastor Richard Frederick, Senator Lawrence Hislop. You know, we want to see Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine. We want to see Assemblyman Watson Duke. We want to see y'all on this walk, lending support in terms of, you know, really showing that our men folk are indeed doing good things, and we continue to make a difference, you know, in this space most certainly. And it's not limited to just Roxborough. Feel free to head on up. This takes place on Sunday, and all I encourage to come out is the 5K and the 7K run. And if you can't run, you can walk. If you can't walk, well, you can creep. But certainly, we're gonna be up there and looking forward to the activities. Thank you so much for bringing the information to each and everyone here viewing and listening this morning. And we wish the event every success.
I want to thank you so
much.
Thank
you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, great. I mean, and that's something certainly, I mean, we don't give much recognition to men at all. And I'm loving the fact that we're having these days and we're able to have these activities where we can give men support.
Yes.
We can't forget our men at all in our society.
Correct, and it's so easy to be taken for granted. And, you know, I really want to say kudos going out there in terms of actually having these initiatives centered. And I trust that there would be other NGOs and so on. Take this as your heads up. Ladies, take this as your heads up out there. International Men's Day Sunday. You know, we can do something a little extra special for the men. You know, very often we take that for granted. We go all out for Children's Day, for you know, when we're celebrating our ladies and our women and all those special occasions. This weekend is our time. You see, I've extended it now, Candice, to the weekend. This weekend is our time as we celebrate International Men's Day. So we look forward to those celebrations. Don't hesitate. And it's the simple things, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, too out of the way. If whatever you can afford in your household, in your space, in your circumstance, do a little something to appreciate our men folk out there as we continue to make that contribution. The pressure and the challenge is just as heavy on us, but just as that as men in the household, you know, we may not always come down and give in to that pressure because we take on that responsibility. But let's continue to encourage, even where the man seems to have it all together in the household, let's still give that kind of recognition. Children out there, recognize your fathers. It's part of the Men's Day celebration. Let's really celebrate our men here as we continue to look forward to that exceptional contribution of our men continuing to develop Tobago.
And of course, we also want to see that our men develop good relationships amongst each other so that they can depend on each other. And, you know, it's okay to be able to be vulnerable with each other and receive that support from each other so that we can just be a better society as a whole.
I see one of our viewers saying, yes, Julian, we heard you. Thank you so much. Selma Lashley out there, thank you so much. We really want to get that message out there far and wide. We'll appreciate it. We'll appreciate it most certainly. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much, each and every one of you, continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And as we head on out to a break, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
This Christmas we celebrating, cause B-Mobile they coming with rating. So brace yourself for plenty prizes, cause this season will be the nice. It's the most deals and the most vibes and the most cars and the most price. The most giveaways, the most parade. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile. I want a Christmas season with B-Mobile. Bring the sorrel with us to a Merry Christmas. Having a Christmas season with B-Mobile.
Top up, buy a plan, sign up or pay your bills to enjoy the best Tobago Christmas. B-Mobile, life is on.
Want to improve your child's comprehension and creative writing skills in record time for SEA? Calling Preps 3s, 4s and 5s, Sundays only, 3-hour sessions of individual attention with a qualified, trained, experienced teacher of over 35 years and an SCA examiner. Call 266-5952 or 222-2082 for further information. Ask for Ingrid. Excellent results all the time.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're just at about 7:56 a.m. this morning. We're on that, final few minutes before we wrap. And, very quickly, we want to remind you, you all certainly, those of you venting there on the outside, it's Tuesday in that lineup for the week. The weather, you might want to walk with those umbrellas if you haven't done so already. In terms of if you haven't left home already, I want to make sure that you pick that up in the mix in terms of being able to move in and around based on the weather, at least up to when I was coming in into studio this morning.
Yes, certainly, and we have just a low level trough passing through. So just be aware of that. And of course, if you want to get into the water, now might not be the best time because the waters are pretty choppy around Tobago at this point in time. But if you're into surfing, it's a good time to go surfing. I don't know if you've seen the surfers out there at Mount Irving.
I feel like we got to get back to some of those outdoor. In fact, someone met me on the line up there, right in the Bonaccord area. Hey, when are y'all going to be back down on this side? When are y'all going to be coming back on the outside? We're looking forward to that. So certainly that's something to look forward to. In the mix. Also happening tomorrow morning, and we're going to get a little more details on it. The media launch that's taking place with Tobago Day celebrations for 2023, and those are the celebrations that surround December 4th. We're certainly looking forward to that as well and getting some more insight into the proposed and the upcoming activities, a number of things happening for 2023. So that media launch takes place tomorrow. We'll have more details for you by the time we get here in the morning.
But we already know just a little bit of some of it because it's going to be different. Tobago Day celebrations are going to be different this year. And one of the things that they're adding to the mix is that of this electoral district football, beach football competition that's going to be held at a beach football facility there in Corland. So that's going to be interesting. And there's also the talks about having an island-wide cleanup competition. So there's going to be a competition between the communities, which is going to be really interesting as well to see how, who could be the cleanest or look the prettiest, for Christmas time.
Who knows? We might even see Assemblyman Niall George on the team there for that competition. Who knows? But what we're sure about is we'll be seeing him coming up shortly in our segment as we continue to look, beneath the surface. We'll be having Assemblyman for Plymouth Blackrock, Niall George, Assistant Secretary for the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, as we continue to get some insight and, getting that perspective from those sitting, as some would say, sitting in the hot seat at the moment, just heading on in a few days away, I should say, heading on into December. That really marks that 2-year lineup of this current administration. And getting a sense of where are we at and the progress that's being made. So we look forward to that coming up, and that will be following here the Tobago Updates Morning Show.
Yes, certainly a lot to look forward to. So viewers, we just want to thank you so much for joining us each and every day. It really is a pleasure coming to you and being a part of your morning routine as, we seek to just bring some clarity as to what's happening all around us right here in Little Tobago.
So we invite you to stay connected with us. Thank you so much again, each and every one of you. I'm connecting far and wide, yes, and I continue to meet each and every one of you day by day. And I want to say thank you, as we always say when we meet up with you and you highlight and you reference the show. Thank you, because that confirms for us that you are choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. You can be anywhere else, but you have chosen to connect with us here on Tobago Updates television, and we say thank you very much indeed. This is where we're going to leave it for today for the Tobago Updates morning show. And as we said, please stay tuned, because we're heading straight on over to Beneath the Surface, where we'll be hearing from Assemblyman Niall George this morning. Viewers, stay connected. Thank you very much for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. And at this point, we're heading on into Tobago Notes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Grow Smart. It's an initiative conceptualized by women for women. The NGO Women-Owned Media and Education Network, in partnership with the British High Commission, selected women from rural communities in Trinidad and Tobago to learn to, well, grow smart. Essentially, through the 6-week training, 10 female farmers and agribusiness entrepreneurs from Tobago will be empowered through training and education in sustainable and cutting-edge practices.
The UK's contribution to this creative thinking is to partner with our NGO called Women and to be part of the Grow Smart initiative. So this is to provide education and training to women farmers and would-be farmers and aspiring agribusiness entrepreneurs. You're going to get knowledge and skills and resources to help you implement sustainable and innovative agricultural practices.
Grow Smart intends to introduce hydroponics, hydroponic system design and construction, liquid and substrate-based systems, nutrient formulation for hydroponics, sanitation and biosecurity for hydroponics, introduction to aquaponics and organic hydroponics, and introduction to agribusiness and marketing. Today, as the Grow Smart initiative officially launches in Tobago, I reflect on the words of the late Nobel Peace Laureate and freedom activist Desmond Tutu. He said, if we are going to see real development in the world, then our best investment is women. For us in Tobago, roughly around 80% of our agricultural produce comes either from Trinidad or through Trinidad to Tobago. And so that dependency alone tells us that we are nowhere close to achieving food security and, more importantly, food sovereignty, which has to do with the island's ability to have a secure and safe supply of food at all times. You are now at the front of that battle for us on the island through the Grow Smart initiative. I believe you will do well in this program. Here is an opportunity for you to broaden your skill sets as women. Here is an opportunity for you to create a legacy for your family and for your children.
These women will develop an agribusiness model around the new learnings, and 6 of them will be given the opportunity to pitch their new business idea.
30 women in total are the beneficiaries of this program.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Standard, and
Today we're launching High. It's our newest brand that Standard is launching, and it's where luxury meets affordability. We're very proud of this brand. It's taken some time to get the right collection in place, and we're also going to continue to improve on our collection as time goes by and we listen to our customers more. We've changed our suppliers for this collection to European suppliers, so you're going to get that European finish. We've been very pleased by some of the results that we've been seeing in terms and response to it in the market, and we're so glad to bring it to Tobago and show Tobago what Standard could, grow with them as well.
It's not just about looking good or having materials that are easily cleaned or sustainable materials, because the important thing about this particular collection is that it is quality. It is meant to last, and it lives up to the standard name about never beating on quality and price. This furniture particularly, especially our outdoor line, which ranges from fiberglass, plastic types of outdoor stools, outdoor chairs, even the outdoor furniture, it is built to last.
That's the importance with High, right? It's not only looking good, it's going to feature things that make your life easier, and it's not too damaging on the pocket. That's important for us.
This furniture fits the lifestyle of Tobago, of the Tobago customer, of the Tobago guest. It is the perfect type of furniture for you.
Oh yes. Morning viewers. Woo, rain is pouring down. Yeah, morning viewers. I'm Jerry McFarlane, the host of this program. And this morning, as usual, we continue our show looking beneath the surface as we look at members of the Assembly. Every single one of them will be having this chat or this discussion with them on Tobago Updates as we look at their lives and their involvement in politics as members of the Tobago House of Assembly, even the councillors who have their particular role to play as well, the minority leader, and even Mr. Watson Duke as well. So all those members of the Assembly will be given a chance and an opportunity to talk with us here. I'm host of the program, and we'll continue to hear their views, hear their concerns, and to see what are their priorities, of course. And this continues as season 2 from the 14th of November to the 6th of December. So with me this morning is one of the very youthful and dynamic representatives, Mr. Niall George. Niall, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for the welcome. Good morning to Tobago and all the others viewing out there.
Yeah, very well. So you are representative for the what area again?
Plymouth Blackrock District.
Plymouth Blackrock District. And
You are the assemblyman. And before I go further, I must just there were people from the two programs, people who commenting on the first program in particular, who were indicating quite a few persons why we continue to say assemblywoman and you say assemblyman. You know, you're not saying assemblywoman for the ladies. I had to explain to them, and maybe I could say it here again, that the law provides for members of the assembly who are elected to be called, whether they're male or female, to be called assemblyman. You know, so that is what the law prescribed. But I could recall in my days of the assembly, and I think it was Deborah Moore McGinnis at the time who was a member of the assembly, and she felt very peeved by it, although she was an attorney, or she is an attorney still. And she wrote to the assembly formally and requested that she be addressed as assemblywoman or member of the assembly, Deborah Moore McGinnis. And I think they went with that and they described, call her assemblywoman. And I must recall too, even my days with Robinson in the early assembly, you know, he looked at that also. While he said it was quite legal, you know, he was saying that maybe we should place greater emphasis on as describing the persons whether they are councillors or whether they are male or female, they should be emphasize them and point them out as members of the assembly instead of going specifically to assemblyman as the law requires, as the law states. This is how they will be called, you know? So just want to have that clarified and explained. You know, as a former member of the assembly, I know this came up from time to time in the early days at the Tobago House of Assembly. So as we move on and we chatting with Niall George here, and Niall, you are Assistant Secretary in which area?
In the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we're chatting here with you, and we want to first let us look at the early days growing up in your community, and so on, what it is like growing up in your early days. Because this program, we just don't want to look at the hard politics and what you're doing and who you're criticizing or who criticizing you. We want to see the person, Niall George, you know, this person that sometimes come across very private.
Well, Mr. McFarlane, I believe that I grew up in a gem of a village called Plymouth. Some of the wider community of Tobago may not look at Plymouth that way, but ask anyone that grows up in Plymouth what they think about that village, and it would be something totally different. You know, growing up, you had football, you had many beaches. You know, it's just we at a younger age we would catch crabs. There were so many different activities that you could take part in as a Plymouth person. If you look at the history of Plymouth, rich with sports persons as well. You have many people that would have represented not only the island but the country for various sports. We have people like Daniel Cyrus. Even recently now we have people like Kimika Forbes, Karen Forbes. You know, so if you looked at character athletes, there are people like Kenisha Williams. We had people like sprinter there, Kellyanne Baptiste, you know. So it's a very rich in talent. You know, we have won the football competition so many times. Me and the chief sec would jab at one another as to who has the better football team. I know he would have to take second place at that until he
get to know more about Stokely Vale.
Yes, until he does. Until sides are able to say that they have competed in Super League competitions and such, you know what? We would give them some leeway in Tobago, but at a higher level, that would have to go to Stokely Vale.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, people may not know that in Plymouth at one stage in the early days, we had 3 steel bands in Plymouth, you know. The only village in the whole of Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago that at one stage in our history, we had 3 steel bands coming out of Plymouth. As a matter of fact, we should also note, as a Plymouthian myself, I'm proud to be, you know, we were the ones from one of those steel bands, I think it was SO Wonder Harps at the time, that contributed the steel band to start Cats and Jammers in our neighboring community village of Blackrock. And when the fellas on the base see Burley Ramsey father or uncle or one of them going with the pan, they pass by the beach to go with the pan, they nearly run them down. and beat them because they thought they thief the pan. Never to know Josie and them fellas, give them fellas the pan to go and start up the thing in Blackrock, you know. So the Plymouth community has been known for a number of interesting things in the past. But this is not my story. This is your story that we want to discuss here this evening. But you come across, Niall, as sometimes as a private person. And it's interesting to see how you manage in this public space with public responsibility and this private persona that you have.
Well, Mr. McFarlane, the reality is I entered myself and I am the one that chose to serve. So I understand some of the responsibilities that come with it. I mean, it's on hyperspeed now, and some people don't know where to draw the line. We are here to serve, but we aren't owned. And we are asking for a respectful level, a level where each and everyone must have a cutoff point. We are also humans. We aren't robots. Each of us need our space, just like the public needs their space at certain times, but we are here to serve. It may not happen at the exact instant that you would like it to happen, but it will happen.
Of course, there are particular procedures to follow when the public make their request to you and so on. You know, you want to explain that further. Sometimes people ask you some particular things or requests, and then you just go and say, go and do that, or go and do that, or go and think, you know. Explain some of these challenges that you have, especially executing your public responsibility.
Well, I'm very happy that you brought up that point, because members of the public think that as the politician, you can just make things happen. No, it's not that way. There are policies, there are procedures. We are the policymakers. We are the ones that would implement the policy. But that would then be carried out by the public servants. And they have checks and balances. If you have heard of the Auditor General, they have to toe that line. There are laws that govern the country, and we have to follow these laws in the due process to get things done. And I, as a politician, do not want to get myself in trouble. And I certainly would not like to see any of the public servants that serve along us in their daily duties get themselves on the wrong side of the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we have a lot of that going on, you know, people going on the wrong side of the law. I think Plymouth recorded two murders or something like that. Well, one person was from Plymouth, and another person from Plymouth was involved in another kind of shooting and so on. But, you know, it all comes back, and I must ask you this question as we move forward. Do you think that good parenting, if you should talk for yourself, was responsible for getting to where you are today and how you see public and community life? Now we're involved in politics. You think that good parenting, or give us an idea how good parenting helped you?
Good parenting is very important in terms of raising children. Anyone within the community of Plymouth could tell you about the relationship with me and my son. He's 15 years of age, and sometimes when the excitement he has when he sees me, I have to say, Jai, tone it down, you're getting to be a big man now, you know. And my father was absent for a period of my life. And my mom, Pearl Alman George, thank you for all the sacrifices that you have made to get me to this point, and those that you continue to make daily. My mom is a prayer warrior, and even before leaving home today, I heard her praying for me before I got to the show, you know, and it is very instrumental, the role of parents. If you look at the crime situation, I believe one of the root causes is absentee fathers. And you have these young men going out onto the blocks, and you have people that would be giving them certain, what is called gifts, and they look at that as something that they do not get at home. They are now willing to do things that they aren't even willing to do at home for these people, because they look at that as fatherly love, not understanding that they are being used. And that is where fathers have to come in. You know, you also have the situation of females being breadwinners, and they have to be out there all this time looking to earn a dollar. And that leaves the children to the power of the devices. And we all know that devices can be used for positive, both positive and negative, you know, so without the monitoring. And so they're left to the powers of the world, basically.
Mm-hmm. But you know, you mentioned a very important point of absentee fathers. But you are a fantastic example. In spite of an absent father, your mother, and is one of the exceptional mothers, I'm saying that very openly and so on, without any fear, is one of the exceptional mothers. You were fortunate to have an exceptional mother, because in spite of the fact that your father was not around for some time, you know, she took charge and ensured that you were involved in stupidness and that kind of thing, and criminal activity and all this kind of thing. I mean, tribute has to be paid to her. So in spite of the fact that absentee fathers can contribute, but there are some strong mothers like Pearl Alma and George, you know, who ensure and take a responsibility as a parent, not only for her own children, but also for the wider community. You know, you should expand on that a little bit. You know how you grew up with your mother. She used to blaze you when you're ready.
First of all, Mr. McFarlane, I never said my father was absentee, because he was a police officer and he was transferred
for a while.
Right. So I do not want it to come across as my father abandoned me, and I would like to have that made very clear. But due to the situation, he would not have been around as much as I would have liked him to be around. The relationship that we had was not a very strong one. So that's what I'm speaking about. And I use that as an example to make sure that that does not happen with my son. Now, it could go the other way around, where people look at that and think that that is the correct thing, you know. And I encourage fathers to have a very, very strong input, especially into the lives of their young sons, because these sons, trust me, sons and their mothers are very delicate things. They say girl children are for their fathers and boy children are for their mothers. And maybe because of that special love, the mothers allow the boy children to get away with a bit more than the fathers would. And that's where we have to step up and play our part, you know. And as I said before, you have to have your children know love. And I believe that part of the crime problem is that you are seeing a lot of young men that they don't know love. It's very easy for them to do these vile acts because they haven't experienced much love in their life.
Much love, much guidance.
Much guidance. And
what would have happened to you if you had the situation where you come home with some weed in a bag and your mother see you? What your mother would have done to you?
I can't even imagine that situation. But probably Nile George deceased, because my mother was a very strict person, no nonsense person, very strict mother. You know, I could give you an instance. When I was in primary school, I had a poem to learn, and I did that. So mommy asked me to say the poem, and I was like, Mommy, but I didn't learn the poem. And these were the days when she would teach white-up classes. Got into the transport, and she was like, well, you had a whole week to learn it, so between Signal Hill and Plymouth you have to learn it, otherwise. And that's just to show you the kind of person and mother that my mother is.
Yeah. Parental guidance is so important, boy. It's just amazing. Parents and guardians, their input into young people's lives, so important. I mean, not just their children or their grandchildren or their relatives, but their influence on the society or the community is also extremely important, boy. So we move on to you getting into politics and the duties and the responsibilities. You're responsible for the this area of Plymouth Black Rock. That is the name of the district.
Yes.
And how many villages involved in that area?
Well, there are about 9 pockets. So the name Plymouth Black Rock really doesn't do the district service. We have areas of Bethel, Mount Irvin, Pleasant Prospect, Black Rock, Plymouth, Marys Hill, Wim.
Back Hill too?
No, Back Hill would be under Darrell Spring Wim. We're talking about the
Parts of Union and
Philadelphia area, the Philadelphia area of Wim. The community center is actually in the district of Plymouth Black Rock. Then you have the Union area, you have the Mountie, Orange Hill Road area. So it's a very wide expanse. And it's that way for a reason.
And you said for about 7 pockets or villages, I call them? 9 villages?
Yeah. You have the Fairbanks Mountie area.
Yes, that's another area.
That's another area as well. So
that is almost the same area that I had when I was in the politics. That we used to call it the same Plymouth Black Rock, and it's almost the same area, but except for Bethesda and Golden Lane and so on in that area. The part of that area was included too.
Included as well.
You know. Mm. So how you manage, that is what I want to get to. These are these 9 communities or pockets as you call them. I don't too like the word, but these 9 little communities or villages involved in this district. How you make out in terms of managing and dealing and serving these people in that community?
Well, it would be impossible for me to be in all of these areas at one time. So you have to develop contacts that would keep you informed as to what is taking place in these areas as well. So there are persons within the district that I have regular communication with, along with walking around and having walkabouts and so forth. There are persons within the communities that keep me abreast of what is going on. So a problem arises, I get a phone call, either myself or my field officer would arrive, and we would be able to assess the situation.
But you have field officers in those 9 districts?
Well, it's
9 areas?
The field officer has to traverse the areas. That's the part. That's part of their job. They would have gotten into the job knowing that it's a large area, and it would take some doing, and they have been doing a very good job.
Mm-hmm. So the whole district know who the field officer is? The whole district know who the field officer is?
By now they would.
Mm-hmm. I thought you'd have a system in addition to that where each month you have a day for each of the 9 villages, or every quarter you have a plan where you're going to cover a visit at least to all those areas where people can meet with you or something.
Yeah. That is the new plan that is being set. So Mr. McFarlane, I'm new at this. And as I go along, I learn. And I understand the need. So one of the things that I would do, depending on the number of persons that make appointments for the district office day, I would then call them and go visit them, because it improves visibility as well. You know, if the number is small, it would be easier for me. And sometimes people, when you go to the areas, when persons would see you speaking to the person that made the appointment, it's very easy to accommodate them as well. So sometimes people wouldn't come into your district office. They just won't. For whatever the reason, they just would not come to the district office. They may have an issue that they would like to have dealt with, but they just wouldn't come to the district office. I can't tell why, but it's sometimes
you have one district office?
One district office.
And you ever went about giving the number and the contact where the district office is for the district?
Yes.
The numbers, the general numbers in the communities and so on?
Of course, it's posted on Facebook as well. You know, so it's the district office number is out there, and news spreads fast. The news spreads fast, so it's common knowledge within the district.
Yeah, I can't emphasize, as a former member of the Assembly, I can't emphasize how important it is to have your physical presence sometimes in these communities regularly, whether it's through funerals or christening or wedding or any sporting activity in the community, and don't wait until something happens. And, you know, well, let's say I ain't seen the assemblyman, you could always say, well, listen, I was in this wedding, I was this place, I was this function, I was in this school doing something, you know. People need to know that and so on, and don't wait until people call you from time to time. But, you know, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of strategies and approaches that you could use to stay in contact. And, we should try and contact those. We should chat more about that sometime. But it is very important. Physical presence, nothing beat that. Notwithstanding all the technology that we have. Physical presence in this small little island on the planet is very important. People want to know that me see you. He come here and he deal with me. See you. He come right to my house and he talk to me about this. He come and he console me over this incident or something that happened. He come and he express his condolence or something. Yeah. People love to say that. So you have to try and find ways to reach out there. You can't reach everybody every day at the same time. And they have to understand too that you have your private life too, and you have the other areas in the district that you have to see about.
Well, as you spoke about funerals, our district is in mourning because currently there are 4 deaths within the district. I'd like to take this opportunity to send condolences to the friends and family of Tim Sovereign. Tim Sovereign. He's was a centurion. We were able to...
the old man Sovereign on Diplomat Road?
Yes, we were able to rename his street after him before he died. I remember I was able to carry a gift bag for him for his birthday. And he was very lively. He had this story about getting licks because he had to milk his cow before going to school. And probably the cow milk was the sustenance that got him to be a centurion. The condolences go out to the family and friends of Alva Barton. Nerissa Penny Williams. Nerissa Penny Williams. That's Blackrock, in the Blackrock area. Franca Charles.
From where?
Plymouth. Yes. Carol Harry.
Cabot?
Carol.
Oh, Carol.
Yes, so it's a very sad time for us, and I'd like to take an opportunity for us to pay attention to our personal health as well. Exercise is very important. Even if it's 10 minutes, it goes a long way. Oh, and I almost forgot George Richardson.
Josie?
Shuckle, otherwise known as Shuckle. He passed on Tuesday as well. So,
the son, Josie's son?
Josie's
he
son.
live in Blackrock?
Yes.
Oh, he was ill for a time in Truth.
Yes, so we have a lot of deaths in the community, and I'd like the community to stand with these persons and their families, so we do in this time of grief.
Yeah, and you made a very important comment a minute ago when you talk about people's, as you pay tribute and condolences to these people. I want to express my personal condolences as well to the relatives of these deceased persons. You talk about people's health. Niall, I don't know if you really know how important this thing is, but people just continue to eat all kind of thing. People just continue to consume all kind of thing, buy all kind of thing to eat, not even recognizing that we have to reach a stage where people have to understand and read the labels on these things to know the amount of sugar in this, the amount of the different names in which they call sugar. We need to do a serious education plan, about how we telling our constituents and the people in our community how to eat, what to eat, how often to eat, how to deal with the diabetic, how you deal with your pressure, and so on. You need to have a better relationship with the health center. We have the most health centers per capita in any other island in the Caribbean that I've been to, in the country, All these health centers, have them more functioning, have them going out and not just meeting people. Let people come to the health center when they have the thing go wrong, when they suspect something wrong, We have to have a whole new plan, how we treat it with health and our communities. Exercise is important, but how you eat, the sedentary lifestyle where we sit down every day and hardly do anything, and we watch TV and we watch girl phones and on the internet, and everybody wants to sit down. More people should be going outside. There are few people who are eating carefully, who I know. There are people who are doing exercise routinely and well, and even elderly people, you know, coming out. You see some senior people outside in the evening sometimes. People do the aqua thing as well, those senior people. We really need to have a program like that, and that's something that me and your mother was talking about, and Paul was talking about recently as well. But we could get to some of these things, but as an assemblyman, you, in meeting and chatting with people, that is one of the main things you should try to address as a member of the assembly. I don't know what you think.
Well, I live my life that way. I believe in exercising. I swim at the Y. I spend time in the gym because, to me, my health is important. And besides the health factors, sometimes it is such a calming way to end the day. You know, you are able to release some of the stresses into the exercise, and it helps you with sleep. There are many benefits to exercise, many. Mm-hmm. It's a bit addictive as well. It's very difficult to start, but once you get into it, you start feeling off if you don't do it. So exercise is very important.
All right, we go for a quick break. I'm advised that we should go for a quick break, and when we come back, we continue, and we look at some of your priority areas when you come back in the Tobago House of Assembly as your response as an assemblyman, and some of your priority areas that you want some attention to be paid to when we come back from the break.
We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated one.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
So your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Here we back, folks, and viewers, listeners, wherever you are, all over the world, and so on. And let me say now that I'm always happy to see the comments and so on. Some of them to me personally, some I have them on Facebook and so on about the program. And I'm really happy. Some of the comments are really on spot and so on. So really, I really appreciate that, I must say. But Niall, we want to get to some of your priority areas and areas that you feel that you want to focus more and more attention to.
Well, the human resource is a very important resource, and one of my priority areas is education and training. And coming out of that, the Plymouth Academy of Opportunities was born. It started out as a community initiative, but the support and the response and interest was so overwhelming that it pretty much took off, you know. And one of the things that pleases me about this initiative is that it's not political, because if you looked at the opening of the Plymouth Academy, you would have seen people from non-political persons. You'd have seen persons who would have represented a different administration being part of it, you know, and we took pains to make sure that this initiative is not a political thing. So although I was involved, I tried to make it as neutral as possible, because sometimes politics spoils the reach of the thing, and I would like it to be one that any Tobagonian that needs help can access. If you look at young persons, there would have been many reasons why some of them weren't able to achieve what they would have liked to achieve. Some might have been pregnancy in school. Some people learn faster than others. So it's not that you are a failure. It's just that you would take some more time and may need more care and attention than others, you know. So this Plymouth Academy of Opportunities is one of my proudest achievements as an assemblyman. To see, you know, networking was used. My mother, a retired teacher, was able to secure some lecturers. Through my good self, I was able to get some people on board, and to see that young persons within the community would be able to access educational classes and training, and for free. We just have to pay a registration for free. These classes are free, and I'm saying to all and sundry, please do not waste the opportunity.
Yeah. Let us get a look at the video, the opening, and some of the activities done, especially at this early stage, and the kind of contacts and reaching out that was done, and the level of persons that contributing so far.
Tobago, easy, bless.
It's said that victory comes from finding opportunities in problems, and the District of Plymouth Blackrock now has a new NGO where young people and even adults can reach their fullest potential. It's called the Plymouth Academy of Opportunities. Here's more. American poet and activist Amanda Gorman said, "There is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." And these young people from the District of Plymouth Blackrock are brave enough to take the little steps to bring about a big difference in their lives through education. They've grasped the opportunities being offered by newly launched NGO Plymouth Academy of Opportunities.
In the case of those who would have dropped out, some people would have gotten pregnant on the way. They want to start over, and they believe they would make good on it. And so this is why Plymouth Academy of Opportunities was birthed. We offer a variety of subjects at the Academy: English, math, science, social studies, art and computer science. It also offers courses in professional development and life skills. These classes are taught by volunteer teachers. They give of their time freely.
In every situation, you need to be able to read for meaning, or as we say in the business, reading comprehension.
The presence of this academy, I believe, can inspire hope and ambition in our citizens, or in our neighbors, in our aunts or uncles, in our children. It will show them that they have potential to improve their lives and contribute to the development not just of our community, but the neighboring communities.
We have come together to empower our adult learners and provide them with the opportunity to upgrade their academic qualifications. This initiative is indeed a testament to the power of collective effort and voluntarism, and might I dare say, the indomitable spirit of community development.
I salute the work of this team. I salute what is not done. I also salute those that are interested in learning, because you must agree that when you are informed, you are expected to better perform. And so we can't have enough education, we can't have enough skills.
This is being extended to the students out there as well. Feel free at any time to reach out to me so that I can assist you in any way possible. I am also here as the role of chief encourager. Please remember that not all races are for the swiftest, but for those who endure it to the end.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too long living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond that sky.
Cayman Islands Minister of Tourism and the Ports, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, who is also the chairman of the Caribbean Tourism.
Yeah, boy, this was very emotional for me, and especially I've been talking to the people with respect to this initiative, and it blows your mind. I, especially as a former member of the Assembly, as somebody from the community and somebody who's really so impressed about this whole Plymouth initiative, you know, and the number of personnel that not even living in the community, you know, came and contributing. Business people, people who have no connections with the community, just love it. People who living in the States hear about it. Understanding somebody who from the States who designed the flyer, first flyer, and so on, you know. I'm blown away by this level of support and camaraderie and community spirit.
Well, yeah, it wasn't the States though. It was someone that currently resides in Canada. But the thing about my district is that Plymouth is blessed compared to the other areas in my district. And that is where the real work needs to be done, especially infrastructure work. Residents in Plymouth can pretty much drive into their homes. But when you think about areas like Orange Hill, Roselle, Monte, these areas have heavy infrastructure work to be done. Earlier, you mentioned that it was pretty much your district when you were in the Assembly. And some of the areas, if you were to traverse them now, they would remind you of when you were in the Assembly. And we are some 20 odd years on. And to me, that is unsatisfactory. So my colleague, Trevor James, would have to help me out in a major way here. And I would continue to advocate on behalf of my residents. We have, especially the areas like the Orange Hill Road, which we kept a meeting there and we invited the Secretary for Infrastructure. And he was shocked as to the number of persons that turned out. And that goes to say that with proper infrastructure, these areas could become developed, you know, and with development, you know, with people going there to live, they have businesses, there will be other knock-on effects, you know. There are many persons, especially in the Orange Hill area, that own lands there that would like to build. But because of the terrible road networks, they aren't even be able to get material to their lots. And it is very important for me to say this and have this out there, because
so you're committed to get these things done as much as possible, particularly during your term?
As much as humanly possible. I will continue to bicker, I will continue to advocate, I will continue to do what needs to be done, to say what needs to be said. because I am the representative of the entire district, you know, and sometimes my Plymouth people take it for granted because, you know, my neighbor string is cut in Plymouth, and left up to them, they would appreciate it if their Plymouth boy would give them everything, but it cannot be done that way because it's not about representing one area, it's about representing the entire district.
Yeah, and it's really there'd be a task, you know. Every assemblyman for that area had some major problem, especially given the breadth and the depth and the area, the different villages and communities, you know. It's not easy for one assemblyman to deal with all these sort of things, especially if you're not a secretary. Especially, you have to have good relationship with the necessary or the relevant secretaries to do these things. But when you're an assistant, I mean, it's really does be more difficult for you.
I believe also it's a kind of a chicken and the egg, which came first, the chicken and the egg situation, because most times when you prioritize projects, you would prioritize it based on how much it's used, how many people live there. But if you don't get it done, then that situation would remain the same because you're not fostering a situation for people to live there. So I think that we need to do, if you look at when US President Joe Biden was first elected, one of the first things he started doing was roadways because they understand connectivity and transportation and infrastructure is what leads to a society growing. So that's just me doing my bit and saying my bit there.
So have you seen any level of poverty as we come to look at some of your priority areas? Any level of poverty? To what extent do you see poverty as a major issue in these areas? I mean, you see people driving around with their fancy vehicles or living in some nice house, but how many people take time to look at those other persons who, some of them may be living in almost like squalor?
Well, to the division aspect, Mr. McFarlane, we have a social housing program, and we would have gone across the entire island. And some of the conditions that people are living in, it hurts your heart. It would bring tears to your eyes. And that is one of the things that energizes me to do my job. When you're having bad days, you look at the situation and say, Niall, things aren't so bad for you. There are people that are depending on you to help their situation. There are persons whose houses are pretty much on stilts, you know, and the current economic situation just does not allow for them to own a home. And that is where we as the Assembly have to bridge that gap. We have to really help the vulnerable ones in society, not just the ones that are mismanaging their situation and then running to us for help. We need to manage the situations of the really vulnerable ones in society.
I brought to the attention of Zorisha, Miss Hackett, and about a particular situation. This boy Ford, he's amputee, Oswin, and he live in a situation that is really needs some urgent attention. I mean, he came and looked for me the other day and so on, and we tried to help as much as he could with that situation. But I think the assembly or the representatives and the various responsible social services, URP, and these people could play a major role in transforming that boy's life, that man's life. His son, his mother died, you know his mother died. He was living with his mother, and now this man has 2 feet amputated. And the area where he's living, he couldn't even use a wheelchair that was given to him inside his small, cramped, and I don't want to say derelict space. But this needs urgent intervention. And I'm sure there may be other people like that, or maybe not as bad as that, who really need some special intervention and early. You know, we can't just go through the process. I'm sure if you ask Notsi to listen, look at the situation and see if you could ask URP. There are one social gang in URP that deals with these kind of things in terms of improving the man's physical space. There's social services that I'm sure has some facility. The man don't get social services anymore, anything from that, and he not getting any old age pension yet. So you can imagine absolutely no income. So these are special cases in my book that the assembly the reach of the assembly, the resources of the assembly should be used to make this man a little more comfortable.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Mr. McFarlane. The situation of Mr. Oswin Ford has not passed us. He has received assistance from Ms. Hackett as a representative. He has received assistance from myself as well. But as you said, there are processes that we need to go through, but we are aware of his situation and we will continue to work on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's another family in Golden Lane that is going through this kind of thing. From time to time, you just hear these people just come to you in tears. They get a ride with somebody, or they beg you and call you, come and see this thing for me, please. Come and see this situation, you know. A family in Golden Lane, I can't remember the name of the people, another serious state of affair. But these are sometimes you may look and see people around, or everybody driving, nice roads here, the street, everybody nice in some house and thing, you know. But maybe you should look at the back of some of these streets, or some streets that maybe you ain't reached yet, with no electricity running and no water, you know, and that kind of thing. They still have one or two pockets of that kind of thing in some of these communities. I'm not saying all of that in your constituency or your district, but the general Tobago community, we just can't sit back and say, oh, Plymouth look nice. Inside Plymouth, we're going beneath the issues, what we just see, and search out some of these people who are really in need of our help. All right? What's the situation like in terms of crime and jobs? You see all the people talking about jobs and so on. Are we using the Plymouth opportunities, the Plymouth Academy for Opportunities, to let people know that they have to develop skills and don't just badger you for a sunrise, the sunrise that is called it, or early morning job? You know, how are we getting people to change that kind of culture? Another serious issue, you know.
Well, as I said, education and training is definitely a major part of that. One of the things that I, as an area representative, has encountered, and things like these could be a bit of a turn-off. Someone would ask you to help them to get a job. You would reach out to private sector people that you know are in need of employees.
Need of employees, yeah.
And some of them would just bluntly refuse. And that says to me that you don't really need a job, you know, because everyone cannot work early morning. And I don't like the idea of early morning anyway, but we need to grow Tobago. We need Tobago to move forward. And Tobago cannot move forward with an early morning mindset, you know, and that is I'm not looking down at that sector of employment, because for a thriving society, you need all parts. You know, you need your masons, your carpenters. As a matter of fact, skills people are the persons that are making the most money right now. And if you are into a job for money, I'm saying this to the young people, get a skill, because I can't think of how many people I know that are paid $1,000 a day. Other than tradespeople, barbers, these are the persons that are able to make a lot of money through their skill and are able to make money no matter the conditions, you know, because they are able to work for themselves, they are able to set their own agenda. And looking back, that is one of the biggest regrets that I have, is not actually having a skill. And it is something that at my age, I am trying to work on, because I'm trying to get my electrical certificate. So I'm just saying that skills are a way out, and we need to get a different mentality in terms of the work ethic if we are to move Tobago forward.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Maybe we can't have an island paying people just to do a few hours work when the day comes. Sometime I think, and the other is deal about the ghost gangs, but I could take up that with another secretary when the time comes. You know, you have ghost gang on this island, like if, well, nothing happening. You know, people just stay home and get paid. They don't even come into work and say for a few things. Just stay home and get paid. That had to cut out. Cut right out. The social assistance, job, education, and training. What about crime and so on? And the proliferation of guns in the last few minutes that we have on the program. Crime and the proliferation of guns.
Well,
I'm so disappointed that, you know, the community is being looked at from time to time. When you hear a murder in the community or something, you know, or somebody from the community involved in some murder or some major crime activity, just show a thing on my spirit. But how we could treat with that as a community, not just you alone, but how we could treat with that sort of thing?
Well, I believe crime is a social problem as well. You know, if you take a dig into crime, most of the persons that are doing this are people from the lower end of the scale. And as I said to you, it's about love, it's about leadership and so on. And I am currently, there seems to be a uptake in gang activity in Tobago. And I really do not understand where this has come from. It's something that bothers me to the core, because we have people who would have grown up together now on warring fractions, involving themselves in something that, to me, they know nothing about. Because if you look at this gang culture, it's very prevalent in Trinidad, and people in Tobago are taking up this culture off of things that do not involve them, and as I said, they know absolutely nothing about. Mm-hmm. We have to implement more social programs to be able to capture the youths that are straying and put them on the right path. But Mr. McFarling, you can carry a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. And that is where I believe that the family influence, how you are trained, is how you would remain.
And your level of brought-upsy.
And your level of brought-upsy is what the family input is, what keeps you, what holds you. Because the influences are always there. It's not like the influences haven't passed in front of me, but I've refused. Even if you may have done something, it just feels wrong. If you know, if you have you are grounded and you have a correct core, a proper beliefs, even if you try to delve into it, it's like a homing device. It just brings you back to where you should be. You know, I would tell a story of my my grandfather. He used to smoke, and as a young person, I took up his cigarettes. He probably smelt it when I lit it, and he came into the room. He gave me one of the most resounding cocktails that I have ever gotten in my life. And people say licks doesn't work, but it worked, because I have never entertained the idea after that. Coming out of that also, he stopped smoking because he realized where he almost carried his grandson. So, you know, when you have grounded settings, it's a better place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We out of time now, and I want to give you this opportunity. I want to thank you give you this opportunity to make some final comments about. Just 1 minute of your time to make some final comments.
Well, the entire interview ran past so quickly that we didn't get to speak much about the division aspect, and the public utilities would be the main thing under my portfolio, and I'm here as a happy person to say that we were able to do almost $3 million in rural electrification and street lighting, you know, and with the rise in crime, we are able to do our bit in terms of lighting up the community, making the community a safer place. Along the aspect of sport, we are able to pay for the lighting of the French Fort area, and we know that's a main exercise hub, you know, so it would allow for longer hours of exercise. You know, people wouldn't want to go up at French Fort.
But you complete it right up to the top, or you just halfway?
It would be going all the way to the top. It has not been done as yet. Due to the volume of work that Tiantec has, they are a bit, we are putting them in the spot because they do not have the workers to do all of the jobs at this time. So some of the general public out there that would be calling in to follow up on stuff that they asked for. It has been paid for. We are asking you all to just give us a bit of time and take a bit of time to do the works, but they have been paid for. So you all can be looking forward to a brighter night.
All right. Okay, Niall, I just want to thank you very much for coming and explaining and giving the public an insight of this pleasant and hardworking person that you are. And you come from a very good upbringing. And your mother, we know her to be a no-nonsense person. And of course, you want to give a tribute for this initiative that you are part of, the Plymouth Academy for Opportunities, and so many other things that you have been doing in your community. I hope you get the necessary support, especially from your colleagues in the THA and the general community, to finish them and to continue with other new things for the benefit and the development of our island. All right, so thank you very much, and see you next time. And we'll be see from time to time in our community. Folks, this brings us to the end of the program this morning, and thanks to the technical staff for giving us some extra time there. And we went over a little bit, and thanks to Niall again and all his supporting team and the persons in the assembly who makes his work a little easier every day of the year. See you again tomorrow morning, God's willing. Another interview with another member of the assembly. Take care.